Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So yesterday I had published a video talking about my 2026 planner lineup, my thoughts, going through what I plan to use as far as planners and journals and all that fun stuff for the upcoming year. And I had a couple comments on the video asking, or kind of like saying that they were anticipating a flip through of this one. I flipped through my writer's notebook and I kind of flipped through my everyday carry, my passport TN. And the only reason why I didn't flip through this one is because, like I said in the video, it's literally the same innards, the same guts as it was in my compact Holborn. So I didn't really think that I needed to flip through, especially because I published a video on my compact Holborn setup. But I am here today to do a flip through of this one just to keep everybody happy, and like I always love sharing the innards of my planner. So so this is a Malden, personal Malden in charcoal, and it's a special edition. I believe it was released last year. I'm not sure how many were made, but I rarely see these, and I was lucky enough to have someone reach out to me after I posted on one of my secondhand Facebook page or Facebook groups, and they reached out to me and I was able to get this. And it's basically brand new. Like you could see there's a little dent in but it really doesn't matter to me. Other than that, it's pristine. There's really no issues. It came with no scratches. It still has the leather smell. And I just fell in love with this color. It's kind of like a cool gray. I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up, but it's more of like a blue gray, if you will. And I really love blue. Blue is kind of like my neutral color. And mixed with the gray, it kind of especially in darker backgrounds too, it looks really nice. It looks really chic. And this is my first and only Malden cover, at least in the personal size, and I think I'm going to keep it that way. I was eyeing the black, but I think I'm just going to keep this beautiful cover for a little bit longer, and just live in it for a little bit, because it's a beautiful cover, it's a beautiful color, and there's really nothing wrong with it. And I love the gold details. When I was looking at it online, there were some people, I don't know if they had filters on or whatnot, but it looked a little bit more bright yellow, almost like a lemon or a lime colored yellow. But I mean, the gold just complements the blue-gray color so well. So I love it. And anybody who is lucky enough to get their hands on one of these is, I'm sure you're gonna love it too. The Malden covers are probably one of the most famous covers from Filofax, just because they're so supple. I know a lot of people aren't happy with the newer covers, the newer Malden covers, and a couple of the other covers coming out, just because they have a coating on it. And honestly, this one, I don't really know. It says it's antique leather. I don't know if they use the original Malden leather or this one is coated. I can't tell, because I've never owned a Malden cover before. So, but to me, it's beautiful. I really have no issues. And honestly, I baby my personal covers. I baby my Filofax covers. So yeah, this is probably going to stay in pristine condition for as long as I can, keep it pristine and keep it nice and clean. And yeah, let's just get into the innards. Like I said, there's really no changes. Literally the only thing I probably added in the last, or since I published my Holborn video, is a sticker. That's it. I'm pretty sure that's all I changed. But it's the same, it's the same as my Finsbury. I don't really like populating the pockets. I don't really like putting anything in the pockets. And it's mostly just to preserve, like, you know, the leather. I don't like stretching the zipper pouches out. I don't like stretching my pockets out. You know, a lot of people like their Maldens to be worn in, but I think because this one is a special edition, I'm just more precious with it. You know, it's kind of like a one-of-a-kind thing for me. So I really do want to keep it as pristine and as beautiful as I can for as long as I can. So in here, in the pockets, I just have a picture of my daughter, and then, you know, a sticker, just because I love this little cat character. I don't have a cat because my daughter is allergic to a cat, or to cats and cat hair, but you know, like this character, I think it's called like Mofusand or something, Mofusan. It's just cute, you know, like it's a cute little cat, and it's adorable. I don't know, it's not focusing, but there you go. And I have a lot of stickers like these, so I switch it out every now and then, but the little takoyaki cat is my favorite right now. And then these, you know, I just got these off of Amazon, and it came with like a little tab on the top. I hated it, so I just cut it off, and now it's just, you know, regular tab full of sticky notes. And then I did put the acetate page that came with this planner. It was one of the only things that came with this planner when I bought it off of the person. I put it here because I didn't want my vellum getting messed up, even though this is like pretty thick vellum. I just didn't want it, you know, getting scratched up or banged up because of the hardware on this side. So acetate is there. And then a picture of my other daughter, so cute. And first tab is inbox. Really nothing to see here, you know, like it's literally just a running to-do list of things, and then I categorize it or I mark it however it needs to be, you know, like if it needs to be scheduled, if it needs to be put into my calendar, if it needs to be done now, you know, yada yada yada. So literally just go down and you know, mark it whenever I complete it, or, you know, scratch it off when it's no longer necessary. And I have a few of those in here. And then this is just a vintage postcard that I received from one of my bundles on Etsy. And I am Catholic. I would say that I'm not practicing because I don't believe that you have to go to church every single day or every single Sunday to have a relationship with God. So yeah, but I will say I'm a fan of like the vintage artwork, or like, you know, the antique artwork, especially with Catholicism, excuse me, and especially like the Madonna and Child, good Lord. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of the Madonna and Child depictions, you know, like there are so many. I'm an art nerd, so I do appreciate a really good piece of art, and, you know, this postcard just did it for me. You know, it's very beautiful. I don't know who the painter is or the artist is, you know, like there's no credit, but it is beautiful. And then obviously I'm not going to show you my contacts because that's personal, but, you know, like in here I keep any emergency contacts, utilities, utility numbers that I need to have on hand, you know, especially if like I lose my phone or something. And then, you know, like I have like my pen pal addresses in there as well, just to keep it on hand, because I do use this planner for reference pretty much. And then the next tab that we're moving into is my monthlies. So I don't think this is a new layout, you know, like I've seen variations of this layout, but for me, I kind of tweaked it to where it works for me, and I will be selling these on my planner shop, which is hopefully gonna open by either the end of this month or like sometime in the first half of next month. Life has been a little bit hectic, so I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and like redesign the inserts or reformat them, whatever have you. But I will be selling this template as a printable, and you know, like just whoever wants to try it, it'll be there. But I'll just run through really quick. So this is this half of the page, if you can see it, is pretty much like a rundown of the days. So I have, you know, like 1 through 31 or what have you. Like you can cross out 31 if you don't need it. But up here I put like important appointments, you know, important due dates that need to be done, or like anything out of the ordinary that I have to do or have to pay that month. And then this column over here, like it's split. This column over here is for bills and expenses, and this column over here is for like appointments, birthdays, you know, all the fun stuff, personal things, yada yada. And then on the right page is, you know, like a little monthly calendar up here, and I literally just, you know, either highlight or like put a dot or demarcate somehow, like hey, this is there's something going on today, you know. And then I'll just look over here and be like, oh yeah, you know, like this bill is due or something. And then I do have like a little bit of space here to write kind of like, you know, notes like, hey, this is a PTA meeting or whatever. Obviously, if you have big handwriting, it may not work for you, because I have ridiculously small handwriting, and I always have, so it's never been an issue for me. But this is how I use it. And then, you know, like you have priorities here, and then you have like a little note section here on the bottom that's like gridded. So I kind of just put random notes or whatever I need to keep track of over there. And that's kind of how it continues for, you know, like the rest of the months. I haven't really changed how I use it, so I can't speak on, you know, like using it in a different way or a different format. But I do have this like monthly tab that I keep, you know, like a picture of me and my kids, some sticky notes, because I'm always using sticky notes around the planner, and then just a picture of an angel, because I am really into, like I said, like religious artwork. I just think it's so detailed and so beautiful. So yeah, I printed that one out. And like I said, I haven't really changed the way I use the monthlies, so yeah. And then we go into my weekly plan. I'll go to this one. So this is another layout that I just started trying. Not just started trying, but I've used it for like a couple weeks now, you know, and it's working pretty well for me. I haven't had any issues so far, so hopefully it stays that way. But for me, it's like I don't have any, what's it called, separate planners, you know, like everything in my life, regardless of its category, you know, like kids and work and, you know, personal things, like it all just goes in here. And I'm not really working right now, you know, so I don't necessarily have the need for a work planner. But obviously, like when my shop opens up and when I open up my planner shop, and you know, when things start to get a little bit more busy, I do have a tab in here. But regardless, like I said, everything goes in here, and that's to say I need to prioritize, and I need a place or a way to kind of let those important things pop out to me. I learned that highlighters only work to a certain degree for me. You know, like I've used the bright neons, I've used pastels, you know, like here you could see like I use I think this is a mild liner in the color beige, and you know, just like a blue, like a baby blue highlighter, and it works to a certain degree, but I still need a way for things to pop out to me, especially when I'm like, you know, have a million tabs open and I have a million things going on. I really need to see like, hey, this is what's due today, or this is what's due tomorrow, and it needs to get done like ASAP. So that said, I created this layout with basically boxes on the top. And what I use those for is to kind of demarcate, like, hey, this bill is due today, and I usually write it in red as well. And then, you know, like if I have a meeting or if I have an appointment, you know, I can highlight it too. But these boxes on the top are specifically reserved for priorities, whether that be bills, whether that be appointments, birthdays, yada yada. So that's where that goes. And then over here on the side, I didn't fill this weekend because last week was like ridiculously hectic for me. But you know, like I have like upcoming expenses that I just kind of put in here. And again, like if you have big handwriting, it may not work for you. I should also note that this template in particular, this weekly template, is actually available for free in my Google Drive. I'm pretty sure I have it linked somewhere on my page or in like previous videos, but you know, I'll link it again. You guys can try this out. It's completely free. You know, all I ask is that you either credit or, you know, obviously don't plagiarize or steal. That's not nice. So you guys can try it out for free. But yes, boxes on the top, expenses for the upcoming week over here on the side. May work if you have small handwriting, may not work if you have big handwriting. And then, you know, just like a regular run-of-the-mill boxes for the week. So I have Monday through Thursday over here on this side, you can see. And then I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I did note that I think it was in my previous video, well, not like the last one, but my compact hole worn video. I'm pretty sure that I was talking about reformatting this so where it's Thursday through Friday and then Monday through Wednesday, because I feel like everybody's like the first half of the week for most people is the most busy. So I might end up formatting this. I'm not too sure, because that would mean I'd have to like rearrange the top and yeah, I don't know. I have to fiddle around with the design, honestly. But if you have any input, feel free to, you know, leave a comment down below. If it won't bother you that, you know, like Monday through Thursday is on this side for the boxes and then like your week only has Monday through Wednesday, let me know if that doesn't bother you, because I'm not sure if it would bother me. You know, like I don't hold my inserts to a high standard. It's really just for practical purposes. Like I could literally be happy with the Filofax inserts, and I was using that with my Finsbury. The only reason why I changed was because I couldn't deal with the stupid QR codes that were in the corners. So that is the only reason why I designed these. And again, like I needed a way to prioritize the things going on during the week. So this is the only reason why this came into fruition. But yeah, if you have any input on the weekly layout, you know, feel free to let me know. Feel free to offer any suggestions on what might work for you. Obviously, I'm not trying to copy anybody either. Like this is not, you know, this is not revolutionary. This is not a new layout. It's just the layout that seems to be working for me really well right now. So, you know, I did want to offer it for free just so other people can try it. You know, so just let me know how it goes. I've had a couple of people who've already, you know, said that it's really great. And the only thing obviously is like the upcoming expenses part is like really small. But I mean, the boxes are really small, and you know, like the personal size, I think this is only barely 4 inches across. You know, I think it's like 3.75 inches across, so that's not a lot of room, really, you know. So you kind of work with what you've got. Honestly, like I would omit this if I could, but for me personally, again, like the reason why I wanted this was because I just needed to see everything, and that included the expenses for next week. So but yeah, that's the week's layout. And then, you know, I do have a tab in here. I have like this little plastic sticky thing that I keep 2 photos in. You know, I have like this little artwork, and then this is myself when I was a little girl, and then I have, you know, like sticky notes. These are my infamous calendar sticky notes that I posted on TikTok and everybody went crazy for. Again, not revolutionary, but for me, this is kind of like a way for me to, one, keep up with the month, you know, like obviously I don't want to have to keep flipping back and forth between the months and my weeks. And 2, this is just a way for me to kind of like track how often I go into my planner, so you can see like I was pretty consistent, and I usually am pretty consistent Monday through Friday. I don't really have a need to touch my planner on the weekends, because weekends is like, you know, it's literally the weekend. I don't have anything to do besides, you know, maybe laundry, maybe just cleaning up the house every now and then. Nothing spectacular. But, you know, like I said, last week was hectic, so I literally was only in my planner Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, which is really bizarre for me. And I forgot to mark off, today's Wednesday. Yeah, I need to mark off today. But these are also in the drive. These are also in the drive, and they're also for free. So feel free to use them. Feel free to download them. I have a template sheet for it and instructions, print instructions. So feel free to help yourself, and let me know how it goes. But yeah, I think that's it for the weeks. And then we go into finances again. Like I have sticky notes littered all throughout, like stuck on my tabs and whatever. This is just stickers that I decided to stick in here because it had nowhere else to go. And I don't know, something about this green makes me happy. It's not the most pleasing green. It's like radioactive green, but I don't know, for me it just does something. It makes me happy. And then this is another vintage ephemera page that I had in one of my my packages that I ordered, and it was actually like a full page ripped out from a book, and I just kind of cut it down because, you know, like this line work is actually really beautiful. It's about miniature roses, so yeah, I just kept it in there because it's very nice. This is a fold out that I got with my Finsbury, and I've been using it and kind of like rearranging things and how they fit into the planner. But this is basically like a tracking sheet of my spending every single day. So I split it into 2 because it was just like a whole sheet across for each month. I split it into 2, and this side is bills and utilities, and this one is just like unexpected expenses or I am blanking, goodness. Unexpected purchases. There you go. Jesus, excuse me. I am still recovering from last week. Okay, so my next tab is monthly expenses. So this is basically a rundown of, I'll put a blank because you guys don't need to see what I pay, but this is basically an overview of every month's bills. So I have over here like recurring payments for this set, debt payments, you know, like credit cards, loans, whatever have you, like you could put it there, utilities, power, water, even rent, honestly, I consider. And then, you know, like I just have Afterpay, and then I have 2 blank categories that I can write in for whatever else that needs to be tracked. But this one is not for free. It's going to be put up on the shop. I don't think I'm going to reformat it because it's perfectly fine the way it is. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. Very straightforward. And then we go to my notes and lists section, and this is another vellum with my daughters. My daughter, my oldest, drew me a cute little picture of me and both my girls, so I decided to you know, scan it and then print it on the vellum and just keep it in. It's actually been with me since I started using Filofax, like a year and a half ago. So yeah, I keep it in here because it's really beautiful and it reminds me of my babies. And then I just have notes, you know, like I'm on yearbook committee. I'm the yearbook committee for my kids' school, so I literally have a whole page or section dedicated to that. And then the other things I keep track of is like any clinical trials that I'm interested in doing, online orders, you know, like basically like if I buy something, I need to track it. YouTube, I haven't really touched this, to be quite honest with you, because my YouTube, I don't really plan it right now. I think because I'm in the newer phase of, you know, getting into a routine of posting and, you know, just sharing any videos. I don't really have a plan, but this is here because, like, you know, let's say I just need to reference what I need to talk about in the video, something like that. You know, it's here. Am I using it religiously? No, but I probably will in the future because I do want to continually post videos for you guys, and apparently there's a lot of people who are interested in seeing my flip throughs, which I really appreciate, you know. So it's nice to have a community, have a growing community, and really just have this like new outlet for myself to just, you know, hang out with like-minded planner people on the internet. And yeah, I also have wish lists in here. My wish list goes on. But I'm trying to be really good, you know, like I'm into the habit of instant gratification. And, you know, it's really easy when you have a job and you're making money and, you know, like you can buy the newest Filofax cover and you can buy all these stationery items, because that was literally what I was doing every week. You know, like I would treat myself to at least like $50 worth of stationery and planner items every week when I was working. And, you know, now that I'm trying to take it slow. I'm trying to get into the habit of really dragging out my quote-unquote rewards. You know, is it nice to have stationery and new stationery, and is it nice to have a new planner cover? Absolutely, 100%. I don't regret buying any of my stationery items or my covers, but it's not the most cheap hobby, I guess you could say. You know, stationery adds up. Obviously, the Filofax covers are like $100 each, so sometimes even more. So yeah, I'm just trying to be better, you know, and really like this wish list for me is exactly what it is. It's a wish list. It's not a to buy list. I've had it labeled like that before, and that's how I treated it, you know, especially when I made my own money. So now it's a wish list, and I'm just being really precious with it. And, you know, like I'm really going through and picking out like, hey, you know, do I really need this washi tape? I just ran out of my new one, you know, maybe buy one to replace it, something like that, you know. So I'm really trying to be more intentional with my purchases. And yeah, other than that, you know, like I made these inserts. Again, nothing new. I believe like they refer to it as the Cornell format, but it's really just blank on one side, graph on the other. And I mean, you know, like the way I use it, I literally just put like the title of the category or the list, and then make the list on the graph side, and then, you know, like another title on the blank side, and then another list, you know. Keep it simple. You guys can use it for whatever you want. This isn't up yet, but I think I'm just gonna put it in the Google Drive for free. It's notes pages. I'm not precious about notes pages, you know. I'm not trying to make money off of blank sheets of paper, so yeah, I'll try and put that in the Google Drive, and I'll let you guys know when it's available. Other than that, I do have Filofax inserts in here as far as like the notes. I have like the blank notes, and then I have some colored pages just because I already wrote on them. And I use these to track like my pen pal letters, you know, when I sent it out, when I received some. Car maintenance, I need to update that one because we literally got new tires this weekend. And then this is like my call log or my communication log, which is basically just keeping track of like, you know, the people that I talk to over the week, over the month. I split it into 3, so it's day, you know, the person, or if it's a group call, and then basically just like a one-liner of, you know, what we talked about, like if it's a vent session, or, you know, like checking up on my parents, something like that, you know, really simple. But it's something I wanted to try for a while now. And you know, I'm a big introvert, and my social battery, even if it's just calling, runs really low most of the time. So I do like to keep track of when I talk to people, and what I talk to people about, you know. And you'll see in a little bit, like I have a health log, so, you know, it may line up with my moods, you know, for that extended period of time. So it's interesting to see, it's interesting to track. And then like I literally just over here on the blank notes page, I just did some pen testing. Well, it's really just highlighter testing. I was trying to figure out, like, you know, what colors aren't an eyesore to me. You know, like most of these are pretty neutral colors, I will say. You know, they're not bright except for the, you know, obviously like really neon yellow and this pink. But this pink I've had for a while, and I couldn't believe it still worked. But I ended up tossing that out because it's just, I'm not a pink person. I still use the blue, I still use the beige, and it's just like a mix of Mr. Pen and the mild liners from Zebra. I just switch the colors out every now and then just to keep things interesting. But for the most part, like I try and keep, if I do use highlighters, I try and keep it neutral or very like muted colors. And so we are into the health log. This again is going to be an insert that will be in the shop. It's really nothing revolutionary. Again, like I'm literally just tracking the things that I need to track as far as health goes, as far as my moods go, because I've noticed a little bit of a change in my hormones, especially after being on Mirena for a few years now. I think ever since like 2022. So you know, it's definitely something that I want to keep track of. But this is last month, so like half of the month is blank because I was in my Finsbury, and I already had this printed out. So I reprinted it and just started at the second half of the month. But you can track anything. Like I literally just put dots, you know, when something happens or when I need to take note of it. And then my mood is all the way down here. And I have a little sticky to remind myself of, like, you know, what the letters mean. Like I for irritable, D for depressed, O for okay, and A for anxious. And those are like my biggest, they're not necessarily moods. I know they're not moods, you know, but it helps me keep track of like how I'm feeling that day, especially because I don't have, you know, regular cycles, so I need to keep track of those, especially for like my sake and just for reference. And like I said, you can literally track whatever you need to. So, you know, like it's supposed to be horizontal, and it goes from 1 to 31 again. You know, like you can mark off 31 if you don't need it. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, like you could put it on the top. Concerns go here on the left. And then, you know, you can put like headaches, nausea, you know, whatever you want to track as far as your health is concerned. And I still do the dots. And this has been really good for me. I've been really consistent with my health log whenever I am in my planner. And again, it just helps me reference, you know, like, hey, how was I feeling last week? Or hey, how was I feeling, you know, last month? And especially when I need to go and see a doctor, you know, I definitely have this on hand, and I can at least be like, hey, you know, like this happened and I really wasn't, you know, in the best mental state or what have you. And then I have a tab for the girls. I literally just have the school schedule for the school year on here. It came in a sheet. I just cut it and print it down. Luckily, like the whole thing fit for the Filofax insert size, so that was good. And then I just have I printed out another set of health logs for the girls, you know, because I do want to keep track of when they're absent or when they're sick or, you know, what have you. And then next is my home section, and really there's nothing to it. I have sticky notes on the tab again, and it's pretty much the same layout as the health log. You know, you have 131, you can write the days of the week on the top, and then instead of concerns, like in the health log, you have chore. So, you know, I track like things like if I do a nightly close, you know, like closing down shop, wiping everything, cleaning everything up, doing the dishes, fun stuff. I do keep track of that, Swiffer or mopping, sweeping, vacuuming, you know, toilets, cleaning up the fridge, washing sheets, laundry, cleaning the microwave, cleaning the sink, stuff like that. You know, you can literally just write in whatever chore you want to keep track of for the month, and that also includes watering plants. I'm pretty sure I just added that last one in this month. Yeah, watering plants, I still keep track of that one. I used to have a whole tab for watering for my plants, because I do have a lot of plants and I do need to keep track of them, and I feel like my plants' health and happiness really, like, it directly correlates with my mental health, in whatever time period that is. And you know, like when I go through my more like depressive episodes, or when I'm not really feeling it, you know, my plants do kind of take the brunt of it, and I do kind of skip watering, like 1 or 2 waterings. None of them die, I promise you. Like, I'm not just blatantly killing my plants, but you know, I'm probably gonna add the tab back in for my plants, because like I said, I do have a lot of plants. I'm probably gonna get more, because, you know, like green things are just good for you. And you know, like it's just something that I really need to keep on top of. So the plants, especially now that I'm not in a compact cover anymore and I have the space for it, I'm probably gonna add the plants tab back in, just because there's a lot of plant chores that I need to do. And you know, like, yes, I could still track like when I water it on my monthly chores, but I want an insert that's a little bit more in depth, as far as like plant care is concerned. So yeah, when I get to it, I will definitely put that in the shop. But for now, this is what the setup looks like. And my last one, like I said, like I mentioned before, it's just for the planner shop. So when I do get around to you know, like actually publishing the site and putting all of the templates up for sale, like this is any of the notes, this is where it's gonna go. You know, like any reminders like, hey, you need to pay the subscription fee for this month or whatever, you know, like this is the tab where it's all gonna fall under. And then I just have like design and template notes on the sticky note for now. But really that's it. Like, this is a to-do, a running to-do list for the shop, and I'm pretty sure I completed all of those already. And then this is just the transparent sleeve, well, not transparent, but like frosted sleeve that came with my Finsbury, and I just moved it into here. And it just has, you know, random things. Like I have sticky notes back here. I I have a business card for my property manager because we do rent, and I always need to have that on hand just in case something happens. I have another Polaroid of my kids, and then I have a receipt in here from when we went to try out a restaurant and we actually really liked it, and I just like their logo. And then back here, I don't have anything in this pocket. I do have stickers in this slim pocket back here, and it's just my dot stickers. You know, I use these for just like demarcating, let me see, demarcating the months on some of the inserts, like especially for like these charts that I try and keep track of, if it'll work with me here. I don't know if you could see that, but like I use a tiny dot, you know, and just put it on like, you know, what month it is, the number of the month. So these are what that's for. And then I just have stars because I used to have a year at a glance, I used to have a year at a glance insert, you know, like the page where you can literally see all of the months on one page and all of next year's months on one page. I used to have that. I don't anymore. I probably need to print one again because it does help with like just tracking, you know, your year and your month. And I use the stickers, or I used to use the stickers and just like put it on whatever month had passed, just to get it out of the way. But yeah, that is pretty much the innards of my Malden. You know, like I said, this was all literally in my compact Holborn. Nothing added, nothing changed. Oh, and I should probably mention that I did use what's it called, Tomei River paper, the 52 GSM. You can buy it off of Amazon. I did use and print my inserts on this paper. It's very thin. You know, if you have a Hobonichi, it's basically the same weight of paper. It works for me. I haven't had any issues yet, but you know, like I use a ballpoint pen and light highlighters, and that's it. You know, like I don't use any inky pens. I'm pretty sure it would hold up just fine to fountain pen ink as well. But I wanted to mention the paper because I decided to print my inserts using that paper because of the compact size of the Holborn, my last cover that I was in. And, you know, like it was a lot thinner, the rings weren't as wide, and, you know, obviously I had limited space to work with. So that is why I printed on the Tomei River paper. But my typical paper that I print on is the Kokuyo business paper. I believe it's like KB. I have both the US letter size and the A4 size. They work just fine. Very fountain pen friendly. And I haven't had any issues with that type of paper either. But also the Tomei River paper, like it's a lot less hurtful to the eye. I do have sensitive eyes, especially like during seasonal changes. So, you know, like you can tell this is bright white, you know, and then this is the cream colored paper. It's not like super cream to where, you know, it looks weird. But I do like this paper a lot more. That said, I really want to bulk this planner up, so I have to decide if I'm gonna move my inserts from my Finsbury, which were printed on the Kokuyo paper, and that'll definitely bulk it up. You know, like if I replace the Tomei River paper with the Kokuyo paper that I used in my Finsbury, that'll definitely bulk it up, and it'll add like at least another like that much. You know, I do have a lot of inserts. But I don't know. I really love the Tomei River paper. I might just keep it because I've been using this paper and these inserts for like 2 months now. And, you know, like what's the point of what's the point of, you know, replacing it? I mean, it works just fine. I like it. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't have to bulk up my planner. You know, I don't want to just throw inserts in just for the sake of bulking up my planner, making it look chunky, because I do like a thick planner. You know, I think I just like it because it makes you look busy. You know, it makes it look interesting. But I'm not busy. I mean, I am, but, you know, not in the way that I need such a heavy planner. And I kind of like where it is, where this planner is right now. I like that it's, you know, like there's minimal inserts in there and the weight is really not that bad. Like I literally took it to a meeting yesterday and it was just so easy to, you know, carry around, and I didn't, you know, fit it in my purse, but I'm pretty sure I could because it's just, you know, lightweight. Like there's really not much in there right now. But yeah, guys, you know, that's a tour of my Malden. She's beautiful. I love her. I love how she's set up right now. I might make a few tweaks in the near future and I'll definitely update as I go. But for now, this is it and it works and I have no complaints whatsoever. So yeah, for everyone who is looking forward to this tour, I hope that you guys got what you needed out of it. You know, I really want to make more videos that you guys want to see. So like, feel free to leave a million comments in my videos saying, hey, you know, like I thought you were gonna flip through this or flip through that, or, you know, like I want to see more of this, or can you go into depth on that? Yeah, you know, like feel free. I take no offense. Like I said, I want to make videos that you guys want to watch. And this, you know, like I make videos of what I would like to see. You know, I love watching planner flip videos. I love listening to people like ramble on about their planner setups and how they're using their planners and Filofaxes and Hobonichis. So really doesn't bother me. I hope you guys continue to comment. You know, it's just, it'll help me with making content that you like and helping me, you know, figure out like what videos to post. I'm gonna try and get into a schedule, maybe like every Tuesday or posting every other Tuesday. But I don't know, like if I don't change a planner, I don't think that I need to be making a video of my planner flip through every week. You know, maybe if I do something like a plan with me, I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, but if you are, feel free to let me know. I might film something like a planner reset, you know, like for the month of October, since next week is it next week? No, I think this week is the last full week of September. So honestly, like I might film another video tomorrow or today, doing like a planner reset for October. So if you guys want to see something like that, or if you have any other ideas that, you know, I could make videos for, feel free to let me know, you know, drop a comment, or you could just say hi in the comments. I always say hi. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you in the next one.